Well, today is the first day this season that the Bengals will actually be able to practice how they play. Sports anchor Marshall Kramsky joins us live at training camp. Marshall, how did training camp look different today?
It looked different because football practice looked like football. Players in full pads, getting after it. And the vibe going into even the locker room was a lot different. Less lax, higher stress. And that became because competition began today. And one of the biggest competitions we saw was between the wide receivers and the defensive backs. And they were getting after it. Physical, hands moving on everyone. Really not looking like they were teammates out there. The defensive backs is something that people are going to be keeping a close eye on. Even after practice, I spoke with head coach Zach Taylor, who said that the defensive backs on this team are really going to be battling it out throughout the rest of training camp for playing time. I spoke to one of those DBs, Mike Hilton, before practice started today, and he said today, the day that pads come on, is one of the most anticipated days of all of training camp.
That's the real feeling football is back. All the helmets and spiders is okay, but once the pads start popping and guys are really bringing out that physical aspect, that's when you know football's around the corner. It proves how tough you are. I mean, this is the time. Training camp is where you got to get your physical toughness and your mental toughness ready to go for the long season. So we're excited about today.
Taylor even said that toughness is a lot of times you see mistaken the wrong way with young players going a little bit harder than they possibly should be. But the biggest thing we're going to be noticing is how they're going to be feeling tomorrow, especially the big fellas, the offensive and defensive linemen. I have more on them coming up at 6, but real quick before I go, just down the street, news coming out from Great American Ballpark, the Cincinnati Reds, they just traded Tyler Mahle a little bit over an hour ago for 3 prospects from the Minnesota Twins. Now, the trade deadline ends in about 45 minutes. This is the 4th big deal that the Reds have done so far, if you include Tyler Naquin and the rest of the crew that they got away, including Tommy Pham and Luis Castillo. We'll have more on that coming up a little bit later. Live outside of Bengals training camp, Marshall Kramsky, WCPO 9 News.